Hi everybody, sorry about the lighting, but I just wanted to do a video on something that's really important to me and help me, well, I should say is helping me on my anxiety recovery and just in general with dating and everything else. So, I don't know if you can see, those are all my library books, and that's only some of them. I absolutely love going to the library with my library card, and I know that's old school, but that is one of my tips for dealing with anxiety, actually, is, just educating yourself on something. And for me, that was kind of like esoteric and spiritual stuff. But anyways, the point of this video is going to be about something that I used to get annoyed when people said it. They would say, complaining's not good. And I would think, but this person's being so insensitive to my feelings. This person's being so insensitive. Like, this is a big deal to me. And it's true. Usually you can have your complaining period, but then it should be over with. Rant and rave, get it out, and then it should be done. Because the more attention you give to something, the bigger of a problem it actually starts to become. You know what I mean? It's like crazy. It sounds so simple, but I urge all of you to just start a 21-day no complaining challenge. I'm going to start again today too, because I kind of lost my way because I'm human, and I did this a couple of months ago where I just didn't complain. Rent was late, didn't have a car, like all this stuff was going on, and I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to complain. No matter how bad it gets, I'm just going to kind of observe it, feel my feelings for a second, but I'm not going to complain about it. And I just, in those 21 days, I became almost a new person. It was even more than diet. Like, my diet was really clean at the time, but I mean, it was, you guys, it was absolutely amazing just what not complaining can do. It's wild. It sounds so silly. It's like, yeah, right, that's not gonna work. I'm going through a divorce, or I'm going through a breakup, or, the world is not right. And that's true. We do go through tough times. But I'm telling you, tough times define us. They define us, and they help us in the end. I mean, some stuff just isn't fair, and it just is what it is. So, with that in mind, what is complaining gonna do? It's not going to motivate you to take inspired action. It's not going to do that. It's not going to, make anything any better. It's really not. In fact, you're going to start, for me, I noticed that complaining was actually tied to my anxiety. And I wasn't in the present moment. I was worried about, 5 months from now, or what happened yesterday, and I was just ruminating, and I mean, I see why I did it. Like, I forgive myself because I think that's important, that you, like, forgive yourself and, cut yourself some slack and don't beat up yourself. But I just can't tell you guys how much not complaining will help you. It's a basis of cognitive behavioral therapy. So instead of your normal limiting beliefs, your normal negative self-talk, you would then replace it with, yeah, this sucks, but I'm gonna get through it. It's only temporary. You start with little things like that until you just find yourself not even complaining, and then you replace the negative automatic thoughts that just kind of like come into your consciousness. You just replace them. You don't want to like obsess, because you're human and you're gonna have negative thoughts and things are gonna happen, but you just sort of like observe them and go, you know what, oh, there's a negative thought, I'm gonna replace that with something else. Oh, my arm hurts today, it hurts so bad. Okay, but instead you might want to go, you know what, I would prefer my arm not to feel like this. Instead, I want it to feel like a cloud. And it sounds silly, but this little cognitive trick is going to help you. And eventually you'll get to the point where it becomes so normal because of the neuroplasticity of your brain. Because if you can train your brain to be anxious and overtaxed, you can reverse it. Okay? One of the ways you can do that is to do, instead of focusing on 50 things at once, because that's going to like trip you up and you're just going to get to the point where you're like overwhelmed. I did that too. Like when I was trying to get more conscious and, deal with my anxiety, what I did was I went like gung ho, like everything, just so much stuff, like all at once, and it ended up backfiring big time. But I knew what was going on, and I just honored it and rested a little and narrowed my focus. You have to be able to forgive yourself for this. It's not going to be seamless. So, I recommend getting, like, I don't want to say role model, but someone you admire on YouTube, or a self-help person, or somebody in yoga, or whoever, somebody that inspires you, and have a few of those types of people, and just sort of like delve into their work and think about how they would be handling the situation. And that is going to be a big help on its own. As soon as you feel yourself complaining, replace it with a better, more neutral thought, and eventually you'll be able to just bypass that altogether, and you recognize it. Because usually in the case of stress and anxiety, it's like one thought, and there's this little window of time where you can go, no, not today, I'm going to choose a better thought. Okay? And so self-care is really big. And so on this 21-day journey, I challenge you to not complain as much as possible, with the end goal being not to complain at all, and watch how your life changes. Some situations suck. Some situations are great. Some situations are neutral. Your goal is to get to neutral with everything, because you know what? I can't think of one time where a shitty thing happened and worrying my ass off actually really helped. You're less likely to come up with some kind of action or some kind of solution if you're in that place of stress. So during these 21 days, I want you to do something nice for yourself every single day, even if it's just a nice warm shower. Moms, you know what I'm talking about? Even that can be really hard. I want you to eat at least one really nutritious meal a day. I want you to dedicate just 5 minutes to some sort of visualization or meditation. I want you to pick somebody who's inspiring and follow them or read their work. It can even be 2 or 3 people. And I want you to practice gratitude and practice being in the present moment. Not 5 years from now, not 5 minutes from now, not 5 minutes ago, not yesterday. So if you're with me on this, I'm telling you, I've reached a point where I'm like, you know what, Sarah, you have to do something. This is ridiculous. You have to be more mindful again. You know what you have to do. So I'm not saying you're going to completely change your life and do all this stuff, but watch what happens if you don't complain for 21 days. Watch what happens. If you just take everything as it is, as it comes, you're going to start thinking of things, and things are going to start turning around for you. You're going to start thinking of solutions you might not have even thought of before. You're going to start being inspired in new ways, and noticing the sunshine coming through the window, and noticing small things. Okay? Because a lot of the crap that we worry about is like, it doesn't even matter. Okay? Self-care doesn't have to be materialistic stuff. Okay? It can just be, positive affirmations, or listening to an audiobook that you really, really love. So it's time to get inspired, and it's time to just not complain for 21 days. I know, sounds crazy. I thought so too. But I'm going to start today. Whenever you're watching this, you can start, and just let me know if this works out for you, because I'm really excited for anyone who wants to try this. It's so simple. And I love this because this is it's a good way to be mindful. It's a good way to deal with anxiety. It's a good way to deal with just stress, whatever is going on in your life. And so the problem with complaining is that it really doesn't solve anything. Okay? That doesn't mean that your struggle is not real. It doesn't mean that you don't have validation. But what do you really want that for anyways? After the initial complaining that you would do normally. Like, you have to, prosper and move on, and the world keeps on turning, and it sucks sometimes, but there's a lot to be grateful for. I mean, when's the last time you actually stopped and looked at the flowers outside? You know, when's the last time you actually slowed down and enjoyed the present moment? And with this 21-day challenge, I think it would also be a really good idea to get into some sort of routine where you do something every day. Like take a walk. Do something out in nature every single day. Okay, so I hope that you'll join me on this because I need to reset. So, thank you for watching.